Good evening. Welcome to the January 28th joint meeting between the Select Board and Finance Committee. This is the second of our department head budget meetings. The agenda tonight, first we have a revolving fund vote that needs to be taken for Elder and Human Services. At 6:30 or 6:35, we'll be talking to the building department, then the planning department at 6:45, facilities at 7, Elder and Human Services at 7:30, IT at 8 o'clock, the Finance Committee Reserve Fund at 8:30, and just added to the agenda tonight, emergency executive session to talk about strategy with respect to collective bargaining, and we will not be coming back to open session after that. So with that, Karen, do you want to do the revolving fund?
Yeah. Jim?
Yes, Sam? Oh,
Revolving?
must be two of them. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. This is something that Liz and I had talked about recently, and thank you very much for adding this on to this agenda. It is something that this has to do with programs that are going on, yoga, fitness, things of that nature, that for the revenues, the expenditures that are coming in, the revenues, it was, I believe it was 20,000. You were already, the revenues that, the expenses, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The expenses, I apologize, is already at this point of approximately $35,000 because of all the programs that are going on with the new building. So the request is to increase it to the $60,000 mark, and there is enough money in the account right now, I believe. There is approximately, there is a little more than $60,000 in there to cover any overage right now, and so they can finish out the fiscal year.
No?
You guys have any questions?
Discussion, Finance Committee? Liz, you want to add in? We good?
Oh, I'm good. Maybe just one thing, because I'm proud of it. In FY 2015, we had about 1,200 programs, so our $20,000 spending cap was perfect. But so far in the past 7 months, we've held over 2,000 programs, so increasing our spending cap now is necessary. That's
Impressive.
And
Will the Select Board and Finance Committee vote to amend the, you good, Steve?
Go ahead.
Vote to amend the fiscal year 2026 Department Revolving Fund COA Recreation from 20,000 to 60,000.
Second.
Moved by Chuck, seconded by Mark. All those in favor?
Aye.
Same motion here, do I have it?
Sure. I'll move that the Finance Committee vote to amend the fiscal year 2026 Department, Revolving Fund COA Recreation from $20,000 to $60,000.
Second. Second by Rick, motion by Fred, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Unanimous?
Thank you.
All right, departments. Henry. Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Okay, you want me to go line for line on it, or how would you like that? Do you want me to just go read it through and read all the through?
However you want to handle it.
Okay. All right. So, under major accomplishments, we the small grant program in town, we're working with elderly housing, affordable housing, I should say, and what we're doing is, there was money that was granted for folks to have things into their homes, window replacements, stairs replacement, things like that. So that part of the program, I was able to assist with reviewing the proposals that came in, issuing permits, and doing final inspections on it. So it was a good project, and kind of happy to be involved with everybody. It went very well, I thought. Scheduled inspections for the 110 inspections for the restaurants and alcohol licenses in town, all of that went well. We're trying to maintain the professional level in the office and emails in person. We try to work with everybody. Hopefully you haven't heard anything bad, but we try to do the best we can with everything that we can do here.
I think you know.
And I would hope you would tell me. I would rather try to know. I would rather know
Oh,
that
yeah.
way. Yeah.
You mean by that, Duggan?
Nothing, Mr. DeCoste.
So existing property folders, that's kind of a goal for us in the office. We're trying to get all those documents downloaded into the respective folders, and so that if people go online, they can just go to that property address, take a look at it, and everything that's in that folder will be online. So that's a kind of a goal for us. That's what we're hoping to try to do. Department goals, create a spreadsheet so we can kind of keep track on how we're actually strong with residential, solar, sign permits, things like that. And it's been a good thing for us. It's kind of telling us, like in January last year, how many permits were issued residential-wise to where we're at now, and we're down just a little bit from last year, but still got a couple more days left in the month to try to catch up with that. So that's worked out pretty well for us. Education we have to do. There's no, the inspectors have to stay caught up with that. Inspections were, again, same thing. The following three are all things that we have to do. We have to take care of inspections. We have to streamline the building permits. Code enforcement is just everything that we have to do. We don't have any really choice in the matter, and making sure that things are safe for everybody. The operating budget request. So my budget supports full-time building commissioner, a full-time shared electrical inspector with the town of Acton, a part-time plumbing inspector. We're funding for alternate inspectors too, which would be plumbing, electrical, and building inspector. And we're sharing an office coordinator with the planning department. We reduced the telephone data by $500 for the change in the bottom line on it. Projected 5-year operating needs for the hardware computer. We're just trying to keep pace with that. We're requesting a replacement of the Ford Explorer. We have two there. Each year, I'm afraid we're going to be spending more money than we're allowed in our budget to keep the vehicles up and running. We invested $3,000 in one of the Explorers last year, and I've already told we're going to have to probably put another $1,000 more into it at some point during the year this year. So a little concerned about that. So we're hoping to try to get another vehicle. The vehicle that we just did all the work to would be shared with the Conservation Commission, and we would replace one of the Ford Explorers that's there.
Can I just jump in? So these are vehicles that were kind of handed down
Yep.
to the department.
Yes.
Are these maintained by an outside third party, or are we using highway at all?
We've been using a third party on this particular one. The big repair, because there was just so much of it, so we went to a third party on that. Typically, it's just, I just brought it in for oil change and sticker, so that's small money. But while it was in there, they said that, the front end, it's got a loose, I don't know,
Ball joint,
mechanical wear on it.
bearing,
So,
whatever, yeah.
yeah, so he's probably going to keep that in mind.
What years you said you have two, what year are they?
2015 and 2017. So The request for the replacement, and I know it's, everybody's kind of geared to electric, and if that's where it goes, that would be fine, but we're looking to try to get another Ford Explorer or a Ford 150 pickup truck. So that's for FY '27. FY '28, looking to probably bring on a local inspector. We're anticipating the Lapoli Group project going, and probably Shaker Lane going. So looking to see if we can bring somebody on 20 hours a week. And then in FY '30, probably bring on somebody full-time as a local inspector.
Would that be an additional full-time or replacing a part-time with?
Replacing a part-time one, yeah. Any questions I can answer?
Do you want to really talk about the impact of 550 on your department as we move into that process? What do you see? You have a half person. I mean, what's the workload that you anticipate there?
Until they actually get going over there, I think like for this year here, into FY '27, I think one person can handle what's going on. The inspections, I'm anticipating being there twice a day. My inspectors are doing the same thing. So we're anticipating being there early in the morning and possibly the afternoon if they need us. We'll set it up so that we meet with their team, we'll have a pre-con meeting, and that pre-con meeting will let them know that we have sections of the building we want to do. We don't want to be all over the place. So when we go in to do an inspection, if there are 6 or 10 units ready here, we're going to do that building. Or if it's a commercial space, we'll work on that one building, take care of that one space, and then if you call us for another inspection in the afternoon or the next day, you can jump on something else. But we're going to try to stay so that we're not bouncing all over the place. The inspectors have, we've all kind of sat down and talked about that. They said we feel comfortable with that. I've done projects in the town of Needham and Westford where multiple, 400, 500,000 units at a time. And the system we've had in place has worked good for us. The part-time inspector coming in, I think once Shaker gets started, and if the Lapoli Group is as aggressive as they're speaking about, then we'll need somebody to help out with the inspections, and so they can keep everything else going on in town.
What about pre-construction, reviewing all the plans and everything? Is that?
Yes, as soon as they give me some. I'm ready to start reviewing it, and I think we're getting closer, but we'll leave that up to Maureen and her team to take care of that for us.
But that's something you feel confident of being able to do without additional staffing?
Right now, yes. I think next year it'll be different, because if the plans are going to be bigger, there'll be a lot more eyes that I'm going to have to put on it, the more time I'll have to put into it. So having somebody that can take care of the inspections for me, 20 hours out of the week would be great. That would help out.
And if the replacement vehicle for this year was a used police vehicle, you'd be okay with that?
Yeah, the only thing I would ask with it is, if it's coming down to us, we need just to consider money to be sure that that vehicle is up and running, so that, I don't get a car that's needs some tires or need front end alignment and things like that. So that's what ended up happening with the other car. We had to do the front end alignment, replace 4 tires. So before you know, it's $3,000. So.
We'll have to institute a lemon law here.
Yes.
Treat vehicles.
Answer any questions for anybody
Anything
else?
else for him?
No?
Just one quick question here, the 32,000 increase in the personnel service from 25 to 26 to 27, is it because of the half full-time inspector? There's a 32,000 more, $32,969.
I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure what that question is. I'm sorry.
It's building inspector admin staff went up. That's the line you're referring to?
Yeah.
17%. I think part of that is probably the office manager being moved down into that line item, right?
No, they're
Or no?
on it. Can I speak to that?
Yes, you can, please.
I believe it's because we increased some of the hours for the alternate inspectors in case they need some help with any of the pre-construction reviews or anything like that. They need to have the alternate inspectors in a little more than they do this year. We wanted to give them that flexibility.
So one more other question, software maintenance and support. Isn't that not part of the IT systems? They don't cover the software maintenance and support?
Well, they were, but then it was changed to us, so we're starting to provide that, the money, so we were asked to budget that in our account.
So, the IT budget was changed a few years back to when the departments have specific software needs, it was moved into their budget rather than the general IT budget.
Okay.
Gives me to see the true cost of running it silent.
The other thing that was moved into individual department budgets that are assigned town phones is, instead of that being in IT's budget, each individual department is
Accounting for it.
thank you.
Anything else for Henry?
Thanks, Howie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner.
And Henry, thank you for all your work with the small grants program. It's been immensely helpful.
My pleasure, it was a good time. Have a good day.
Whenever you're ready.
Good evening. Thanks for your time tonight. Lauren Toothville, Town Planner.
Cooper Matthews, Assistant Town Planner.
So a few highlights from the slides. I think one of the things I'm most pleased, want to brag about is receiving notice that our Housing Choice Community designation was renewed. So that basically gives us extra points on a lot of the grant applications, and makes Littleton qualified for additional grant programs like the Housing Choice Grant. Henry mentioned the Housing Choice, or the small grant program. It looks like we'll be able to help about 20 households altogether with the health and safety repairs that Henry was referring to. And that was funded through a $120,000 Housing Choice Grant awarded after an application in 2024. So we're coming to the end of that program. But that's one example of what our Housing Choice designation has allowed us to offer. Goals for the upcoming year, just keeping up with the professional level of planning services, training opportunities for staff and board members, follow up on all applications and inquiries. We expect significant permitting activity for the King Street Common, 550 King Street and 410 Great Road. Planning board's in the middle of the first site plan application for the phase one, first 5 commercial and mixed-use buildings. Expect the application tomorrow for the first large apartment buildings at the 550 King Street site, followed later this quarter by the application for the open green space between the Tuttle House and the first commercial buildings, and the application for 410 Great Road. Hoping that that'll come in March. So those permit applications will take a while to work through, but as Henry noted, shortly after that, the construction can start on those. Other things the department and the planning board are doing, looking at updating the accessory dwelling unit or ADU bylaw to better meet the state requirements. Working with the town administrator's office to update the 2019 Littleton Common Revitalization Roadmap, excuse me, with the legislative earmark. Working on how to get that scheduled in with everything else we have going. And to continue to support the Affordable Housing Trust and continue with grant writing initiatives. Budget for next year, the request was quite straightforward. Revised budget, given this seems to be a difficult budgeting year. Proposed reducing expenses by $500 and adjusting the professional services and grant matches from $25,000 down to $15,000. And then since zoning board of appeals is a separate budget, a separate page in the budget book, we have a slide for that. Those expenses will continue at $300 for postage. The shared office coordinator and assistant town planner and town planner all work together to cover the work of the Board of Appeals. Let's see. 5-year operating needs. We don't anticipate an increase in staffing. As we work through the sharing of the office coordinator, it seems to work pretty well. We're looking for to replace the unicorn that is the lovely unicorn that is Lucia, as she's announced her retirement. So we're interviewing now for a replacement for that coordinator position. Capital requests, anticipating requests from CPA funds for update to the housing production plan. Last time we completed that was in 2014. It's overdue for an update. We will also be looking for grant funding to replace the $50,000, but we can never be assured that grant funding is going to come through. And then out years for capital improvement on the capital plan. We need to start funding the master plan, proposing a 3-year cycle of requesting funding to update the master plan. I think I covered the high spots. And we'd be very interested to know what questions you have.
For the 50K going to CPC this year, have you been in touch with Carolyn?
Bartlett Harvey brought it up at the CPC meeting this past week. So we'll have the formal request to them for for February meeting.
Sorry. And the outlook is pretty good to get that?
I believe so.
Okay. You talked about the applications coming in, the plans coming in, 550.
Mm-hmm.
How long of a process is that with the planning board? Is it 1 month, 3 months, 5 months?
So, not to speak to any particular applicant, but when the development team can respond to the questions and concerns that are raised by the town quickly and respond with updates to the plans, then that process always goes quicker. Seems to be going well with responses to the initial planning board concerns about the development, but now we still have some more issues to work through on the current application. Going quickly, if it takes 4 months to get through the process, that would be a quick turnaround for the planning board. And maybe quicker after we get through this first one.
Okay. And after you, it goes to Henry?
Pretty much.
Very much?
Yes, because they've been through the state NEPA review process. Only part of the site needs to go to Conservation Commission, and it's all town sewer, so Board of Health deals with the restaurants, that's sort of at the back end of it.
What are you giving up by your cut in your professional services budget?
It's hard to say. It's, this year, using the professional services budget, we did some form-based code training for building and planning staff. We were able to get a peer review of the MEPA traffic report, which is outside of the application for 550 King Street. So that was very helpful. And then be able to point to that for matches for any grants that we apply for. So since we didn't receive any of the grants that required a local match, that we were targeting some of that money for. Did I give anything up at that point? I don't know. It's hard to say.
If I may, one of the things is, one of the accomplishments that you've heard Henry talk about and Maren regarding the Housing Choice Grant, you can see that it was announced in fall of 2024. We're now in 2026. We applied in the most previous round. We were denied funding to continue that program. Myron and Cooper were proactive, met with the team from the state to evaluate the requests and why they were denied and the areas that we can maybe improve upon. And one thing, they love the program, but it's not gonna continue on the cycle. It's a pilot program. That's how they look at it, and they support the pilot program, but anything beyond that is gonna be probably absorbed internally to continue that. However, if there's a different program or a new program that can come out, they would absolutely, they would love to entertain that. So that's where we are.
Forgot to ask Henry when he was here.
Mhm.
Northern Bank, do you have an update on Northern Bank?
We do not have an update on that. Reached out several different times, several different ways, and they haven't shared any construction schedule for the rest of that development.
Okay.
Unless town administrator's
Yeah.
office heard anything.
Tony's reached out. It's been pretty quiet. They're not answering the phone.
Anything else for Maren? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, good job.
Eric, good evening.
Good evening, thank you for your time. Eric Durba, Facilities Department. So I guess one of the accomplishments this year was implementing the MaintainX software, and as of right now, we have completed 227 work orders on that program. So needless to say, it saved my phone from ringing 227 times. But I can accept, decline it, provide feedback, document things, all that. So it's worked out great. I think it's worth the investment, and I think we should continue with it. There's also some more things that Nancy and I are going to try to explore, like building out assets and specific things in buildings, like specifically here, the generator, or, the fire station heating system, stuff like that. It can all be an asset that's tracked, and we'll know the lifetime of it, and all the filters, and all the numbers on it, so that will help us tremendously. We opened and completed a punch list for 36 King Street and the center on Shattuck Street. King Street was a little rough. Center on Shattuck's been going pretty well. We just replaced a breaker for the heating system that was it was an improper breaker because the panels were switched around on some of the HVAC equipment. So that was settled out. That was the second to last issue. The final issue is the flooring bubbling and seaming that they're gonna meet next week with the PMBC on site, and we're gonna go through every area that's gonna be redone, which is a significant part of the, more than half of the flooring in the whole place will be redone. Under the manufacturer, or I'm sorry, under the installer's warranty.
What would the impact, maybe Liz can chime in, what would be the impact to that disturbance on your
So-
programs, Liz?
We're gonna try and do it over the weekend,
Oh, okay.
and the contractor's gonna be willing to do that.
And this is gonna be absorbed by,
Yeah, or
Yeah.
not us.
good answer.
Yep. Couple other things. We were trained on all the new building stuff, so the Center on Shattuck is an extremely complex building that's run through one computer. And they trained us on the one computer, but they didn't train us on what to do when something doesn't work right, or what to do when you wanna convert from AC to heat and this and that. So it's been quite a learning curve, and we've found a few bugs in the system, we've worked those out, and I think Liz and their staff are pretty happy now. Hope so. We've responded to now 28 snow ice events in December and January. This last one was pretty good test on the equipment, and like, thank God we bought another snow blower last year because we really needed it. We also, in this building, replaced over 100 fluorescent lights, so all the lights, fluorescent tubes you see are all changed over. And I think we've been saving about $3,000 on the electric bill. And that was a $7,000 project, so already got a return on investment there.
Eric, the snow blower, was that the gift from the Friends?
No, so we have one that's a gift from the Friends, and then Facilities purchased another large, full-size one, which we haven't had to use because we've only got less than 4 inches of snow. So the
Right.
Friends one of the COA we've used for the 26 other events, and then the last 2 days we've used the extra big boy. Because usually we use one big one and one small one, but
Right.
now we needed both big ones, and it was still over the big ones, and we did it twice, 3 times, so. So, going forward, after the two new buildings have gone through a fully operational season of heat and cooling, we'll have a much better idea of how they function, especially 36 King Street. We're learning there's still a lot of ice dams and icicles because the auditorium wasn't insulated. The main building was, but the auditorium wasn't. There's a lot of icicles on the auditorium. So we're keeping an eye on that. But I'm really starting to learn on how the buildings function, and especially the COA with the solar. My biggest concern with, especially budgeting wise, was that there's no natural gas backup for that heat, and they almost had no electric bill during the summer because the solar was producing great, but they weren't really doing heat, and I didn't know how much the solar would be blocked or how the sun angle would affect it. So I cut some of that out of my budget looking at the first month or two of heat season. It seems to be performing pretty well. And then we're gonna go through in the next couple within a month, we're gonna go through both the Center on Shattuck and King Street for all the 1-year warranty items. So they go through the OPM, the architect and the engineer will all walk through. They call it like an 11-month walkthrough, probably in February, March, sometime around there. And we'll go through everything that was installed at the King Street that's new, and then obviously everything at the COA, and just basically pick it apart. And if there's any issues with it, now's the time to do it. And our OPM's been through a bunch of those, and they said they're pretty good at getting good results. So we're hoping Vertex will come through there. Excuse me. And then the last thing is, I've been kind of conducting and evaluating several need studies for each building that I have, but basically a list of the top 5 financial and, you know, existential things for each of the buildings. Town hall, senior center, police, fire, library, etc. So I'm hoping now with a full year and seeing all the buildings and how they function during the seasons, I should be able to have a pretty good dollar value on that, roughly. So we started a little high with the budget because we thought we had the fuel island and some other stuff. We have absorbed the town administrator's billing, which is just a lot of the collect-all, like postage and paper and light telephone poles around town, things like that that were just, there wasn't somewhere to budget it to, they were just kind of budgeted through Lisa in the town administrator's office. So we've absorbed that, but like I said, we cut some when we were told we needed to. A significant part of that is from the $30,000 of the center on Shattuck that I had budgeted for the winter heat with the electric heat, and I'm just praying that the snow sheds off the solar panels and that we can start producing. And it seems like it takes about a day or two for a small storm. It started shedding a little bit today. It's so cold. It should start to produce. And then the biggest need that I can see going forward is the HVAC at 36 King Street. And we have a plan, a hybridization plan from Green Communities, but that is a year old. I've heard it's gone up about 40%, so that might change. And we might be able to get some different types of grants. I'm not sure. We're still on the line of whether that's a school building or whether it's a public office building. It's kind of both, but it's also a school building. So moving on, I really think the facilities department needs their own dedicated vehicle with toolboxes and a snowplow, similar to what the school department, facilities department has. This would allow us to get around to the various buildings with all our tools and equipment in the vehicle. Currently, we're using the Parks and Rec's old Ford Ranger, and it's a single cab with 2 seats. So to put anything in it, it's on George's lap next to me or on the seat next to me, and we're just crammed in this little truck. And there's no coverage in the back, so we fill it with salt and tools and stuff like that, and it gets rained on and the salt hardens up and all that stuff. So it's, I think, a necessity that we have a full-size truck with toolboxes to function. I mean, it doesn't have to be brand new, it can be a couple of years old, but I don't see the town having another vehicle like that besides DPW mechanics vehicle or the school's facilities vehicle that would kind of hand me down to that. But so that's why I put it in there.
Eric, on that vehicle, what would be kind of like the minimum? Do you think it needs to be like?
So the minimum would probably be like a 2,500 with a toolbox body on the back, like a square
Utility
toolbox body, like a, you know, with the toolbox doors that open up, similar to
Utility body?
like, yeah, like utility body, like a fire engine type of thing. So that, because we have boxes of different things for each site, and you know, we can't put it on George's lap every time to go bring it to the police station to change a toilet flusher or whatever, you know. So I just
don't know why you don't sit it there and put George in the back. But
not in this weather, I think I'd get in trouble for that. But,
Let's try it.
I think he'd live, he'd be fine.
He would.
He'd do it, if I told him, he would do it.
He's a good sport.
Yeah. Any other questions?
you said you replaced the bulbs in here with LED. Was that a Green Communities thing or just a general
I think with the green communities, we weren't gonna get enough back, so we just paid straight out for it. I think we just paid out of operations.
So how did you decide to do this building, and are you looking at a similar thing on other buildings? Or do
Yeah,
you have
we
a
are.
priority list somewhere,
So
or how are you budgeting?
we also
for
did
improvement?
36 King Street, but I don't have the data on that. And a lot of that was done as part of the insurance thing and also the remodel. I'll try and get more data on that for the next meeting. So 36 King Street is, I'd say 75% LED. This building is interior, all LED except the jail cells and the exterior. And we spoke with the electrician about the exterior. Obviously, he doesn't want to be out in a bucket truck when it's this weather, but he'll be doing it as soon as the weather breaks. They have to take the ballast out and then convert it to a full LED. We can just put a bypass ballast bulb in, but it's still gonna draw that same energy as it would if it were a fluorescent. You have to actually rewire it and convert it, so. It's about $45 a light for the 2x2s and a little more for the 4x2s.
You just get Connor Red and all that.
Bill Morehouse wouldn't like that.
So the question was more like, are you looking at other energy savings for other buildings
Yes.
outside of?
Yep.
And if there, I didn't know if you had a priority list or,
So we have done a few things. We did insulation at the fire station, insulation at 36 King Street. Those two were done under Green Communities with a grant, and we paid a little bit of money. And yeah, we're definitely continuing to work. I think the fire station's the biggest one next. There's some exterior envelope work and obviously the LEDs as well.
Looking down the road over the next few years, do you see yourself needing another George? A half a George?
George is fine as George for now, but George is going to retire at some time, and I will definitely be planning for that. Right?
If I could, Eric, you kind of alluded to the asset tags so that you can track stuff efficiently. We brought that up at this meeting and any number of times as a board, that we need to tag any asset we have, especially anything that runs or has the potential of breaking down.
Yep.
In order for us to implement that successfully, there's gonna be some cost for us to do that. Is there a special software that we need to get? We're gonna have to print labels and just, have you looked at that at all, or?
So-
Tom might be able to speak to it too, because I'm sure you guys are, I think you mentioned that you're working with Nancy.
So, yeah, the app itself has the capability of doing that, and I believe the DPW uses it to do that for their equipment. So I'll talk to both Steves, and I'll figure out how they implemented that, and we'll go that route, and we'll take care of it. Sound
I
good?
check with Light and Water as well, just.
Yeah, I think they do the same thing as well. Yep.
I think that's
It's a great idea.
something we absolutely have to do, and
Yep.
it's gonna make, I don't know, it's gonna make your life easier. You might get more of those phone calls than you didn't want to get. I just think it's good to,
Yeah,
we
for
talk
sure.
about a 5-year plan and
Yep.
to know that the useful life of whatever component or whatever
Mhm.
machine is X. We know we're coming up on.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
One of the things that had popped up in conversations was the HVA system in this building.
Yeah.
I see you didn't make anything for 27, but where do you see that falling?
So that'll depend on when we can actually shut the system down and perform a leak test, which is probably in March or April. We have it isolated. There's just one section that's isolated right now that has no heat, but the other areas can, supplement that enough for now.
is
Once
it
they-
Bernard's office? Can we make it Bernard's office?
It's right before Bernard's office, actually, but,
Sounds like a
you would have
remodel.
heard about it if it was his. But I think it's just an issue that we've seen once, and it's possibly one of the flare fittings that was attached, and there's multiple flare fittings on the VRV device, and there's multiple VRV devices in the building. So if it is a singular problem, then that's fine, but it could be a problem indicative of a failure down the road. So we're having our HVAC contractor look into it as soon as we can actually shut the system down. Because if we shut the system down now, it's gonna take way too long to get back up to temperature. So, but it's not, I don't think at any risk of catastrophically failing. It's just something that is, they've repeatedly had to trace leaks on and add refrigerant, is my understanding. So, it just has a history. So.
And if other parts of the system are helping that out, those are working harder, so their useful life gets affected.
Yep.
Green grass grows all around. Just like nursery.
Anything else for Eric?
Just one question. The HVAC upgrades need to happen at the 36th King Street ASAP, otherwise we risk losing the grant.
So I believe that grant has already, that fiscal period has already passed. We have to reapply for the grant again to do that. But when the remodel was done, only the broken HVAC equipment was replaced, but in that building, in the size and complexity of the building, I think there's 18 individual HVAC units. And only the ones that literally didn't work were replaced, and the other 14 or 15 from 1993 were left. And they work, but for who knows how long. And luckily it's kind of split up around, but there's one 15-ton unit in the attic that is from 1993 that does a significant part of that building. And fortunately it can be worked on because it's relatively older, but you know, it'll have to be taken out piece by piece. The time to replace it would have been moving the roof, but I wasn't here then, so. Yeah, to answer your question, the grant, I think, is passed.
We good?
We're good.
All right,
Thanks,
you all.
Eric.
Thank you, sir.
Sure, Mayor.
Thank you.
Still
Liz?
less.
Hi. Good evening. I know everyone on this side, but I'm Liz Trudiak, Director of Elder and Human Services. Thanks for coming in tonight to listen to all of our budgets. If you don't know what Elder and Human Services is for the town of Littleton, it is our full-service social service agency. It's our senior center. It's our clearinghouse, no wrong door, place where people can go to get resources, benefits, information on any number of different topics or issues or concerns in their life. We operate under three main categories: community outreach and social services, health and wellness programs, and social and recreational programs. And this very tiny printed list is just a smattering of all the different things that we offer. I kind of meant for it to be very difficult to read because I wanted to convey that we do so much for the community. It goes from tax preparation assistance to elder abuse reports to chair yoga and cribbage, and tonight we're having a bluegrass jam session in our building, and it's full of lively music right now. So we do pretty much the whole gamut of everything. So to put us into context for the entire town, we are, our budget is a little less than 1% of the total overall budget. I would like to think we have a very small cost and have a very large impact for that small price tag. So for that dollar figure, what you get from us is many different things. Here are some of the things that we're most proud of in terms of accomplishments for FY '25. We held over 14,000 events or activities that you could participate in. We logged over 6,700 senior tax hours, the majority of those done within our building. 8,744 Meals on Wheels were delivered to participants in Littleton. We delivered 2,624 bags of food to individuals in the community. And our one Shine counselor, Shine is serving health insurance needs of everyone on Medicare. Our certified Medicare counselor met with 125 people and guided them through open enrollment. So those are some of the numbers that we're most proud of this year. I wanted to say one thing at the bottom, but sorry. So, well, we've seen with this new building that we've been open for 7 months, we have seen that our transportation and our outreach numbers are holding steady, but our program and meal attendance for our daily congregate meal on site are really increasing. Comparing December 24 to December 25, the difference is 132% increase between those two exact same months, one in the old building, one in the new building. This is our activity sign-ins by calendar year, so you can see with the new building, it just skyrocketed. We're seeing the major increase within the past 7 months, and we're tracking our trends right now. We're trying to keep our growth sustainable. We were told, and the general consensus is when you open a new building, for a senior center building, the increase you'll see is about 30 to 40%, and our increase just was astronomical. Some months it's 125, 150% over what we were previously seeing. So we're kind of tracking the trends and seeing if this is going to continue at that pace, level off. Is it just a shiny new building that everyone wants to check out, or will this be our sustained new normal for us? So some of our other major accomplishments within the past fiscal year. We were awarded a community transit grant in FY '24. We finally took possession of that vehicle. It's a fully electric wheelchair accessible vehicle. And we got that this past summer. We also installed, with the help of Eric from Facilities and LELWD, a charging station on the side of our building so we can charge our vehicle. That vehicle is fantastic. It's a $115,000 vehicle that 80% was paid for with the grant. The other 20% was paid for by the Friends of Littleton Council on Aging. We added 183 additional opportunities to engage in a meal for seniors, so that's not counting our daily Monday through Friday meal. These are breakfasts and lunch and learns and opportunities for people to get out of their house and come socialize, engage in their community, connect with others. And the biggest accomplishment was actually opening this building in May and getting ourselves in a position where we can welcome all these new people and provide the services for them. Since opening, we've seen 400 new people sign up to become participants of the Senior Center. Generally, the numbers we're seeing are about 19% of our usage is out of town, and the rest are all Littleton residents. Okay, so our operating budget, as we originally requested it, we remained level service in our expenses. We have a new mid-year appropriation in the works, as we've discussed at previous meetings. This is currently posted, and we're hoping to have someone in that role in the next month or so. We had an increase in our largest expense was the Crosstown Connect, which is our dispatching service. It nearly tripled in price over the past couple of years because it's an intermunicipal agreement. One of the towns that was in dropped out, so the price for the remaining communities increased. We were able to offset that increase by switching our mental health referral service for the town from William James Interface Referral Service to Care Solace Referral Service. I would say it's a level change. It's a great product, same high quality mental health services for about half the cost. So we were able to kind of offset that increase with a decrease in another area. So we did make some revisions after there was a call to see what we could trim from our budgets without having an impact on the services to the community. So we reduced our community program line from 3,000 to 300 because we are mainly sustaining with our revolving fund, or COA recreation revolving fund. And then we reduced our travel line from $1,344 down to $667. The travel line was when our community outreach workers were going to people's homes. We found that over the past 7 months, more people have been coming to us. So traveling has been less. I don't see that this will have any substantial impact on our service that we provide. We'll still go out to people as needed and be able to reimburse for travel mileage. I'm a visual person, so this is what our expenses look like. Crosstown Connect is our largest fee. Professional services is second largest. That's the Care Solace. That's our database for tracking our participation and our care management notes. Postage is after that because we mail out almost 700 broadcasters every month. That's our newsletter to members of the Littleton community. This again is just highlighting the changes, the decrease in mental health service cost, increase in the annual fee for our dispatching service, which is Crosstown Connect, reduced the travel line 50% during the revisions, and reduced our community programs line by $3,000 because that can be covered by our revolving fund. So we operate very leanly, but we don't use just town funds to operate. We have additional ways that we fund our mission. So every year, the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, now known as the Executive Office of Aging and Independence, gives every town with a senior center a state formula grant. Ours happens to be $40,352. We use that to pay all of our fitness instructors for the year. So that covers all of that. MART is the Montechusett Regional Transport Authority. They reimburse us 100% for all of our van driver salaries. So we have 5 van drivers who are reimbursed 100%. That was about $44,000. We take in a significant amount of donations and grants for various reasons. We brought in $56,142 last year for various reasons. It could be our emergency fund for residents, our outreach and programs gift fund. We have a senior breakfast gift fund. We have all kinds of different gift funds that people donate to. TREAD is a significant portion of the donations that we receive, and that's tax relief for the elderly and the disabled. So for our 5-year operating needs, we're doing the mid-year appropriation for the full-time 40-hour office coordinator. We're hoping to begin that this year, within the next month or so. When our current 19.5-hour administrative assistant position, that employee is set to retire in April. We're not going to fill that position immediately, but it is in the budget again for FY27, and that will bring us to a level of staffing that brings us comparable to communities of our size with buildings of our size. So I think at that point we will be pretty well staffed at that point. Our operating needs are being sustained right now through different revolving accounts. We have a meal site revolving account, a beverage revolving account, recreation revolving account, fitness revolving account. So we're charging very nominal fees, usually $3 or less for a program, if we have any program, and it is actually sustaining us for all of these things that we offer. Potentially out in the future, we're looking at a cook or a nutrition coordinator, potentially FY29, and I am fairly certain and positive I can get this covered with grant funding. I don't have any capital budget requests for this year because we have this brand new building. And our future need, we will need to, the second bus in is our 2017 12-passenger bus that will probably need to be replaced in 3 to 4 years, but I'm fairly certain we can receive another MassDOT grant to cover the expense of that as well. And our goals to continue on for the next several years, we want to increase and expand our meal program, our daily congregate meal, increase it by at least 25%. Right now, we are working on creating a staffing plan that allows us to have some evening hours, such as tonight, and in those evening hours, we might potentially offer dinner time meals as well. So that's part of that plan. And we want to enhance and increase our Alzheimer's and dementia outreach in the community and expand our efforts with collaborating with different departments to do that. Any questions?
I just wanted to remind people who were here last year and then to tell our new members, when Liz was talking about the office coordinator position, last year during this budget session, she expressed a need for somebody. The building wasn't open yet. We didn't open the building till May. So we hadn't even been in there yet. We said, okay, there could be a need, but we didn't put it into her budget. Finance Committee made the determination that we would cover FY26. If Liz determined that she needed the funding for this person, we would cover it out of our reserve fund. She needs it, we need to cover it. So once the person's hired, we know the exact salary impact. Jim will be back with a reserve fund transfer for us for that position. And that position rolls into next year's budget. It's already in there. You can see the big increase that's sitting in there for that position. Okay?
I have a couple of questions. Just ballpark, how much in the way of funds do you receive on an annual basis from the Friends and the various grants at Rotary and the, you know, there's a bunch of them that come in over the course of a year. Is that a ballpark?
I believe that was for last year, about $56,000.
I'm sorry?
$56,000
56, okay.
for gifts and grants. So
Okay.
far, this fiscal year, for just programming support, the Friends of the Council on Aging have given us about $5,500 to support different programs.
Okay. And the second question I had was on professional services.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 3 years ago, the actual was 19,000. It went up to 20,000. This year's budget was 17, and now it's going down to 12.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you not using the professional services? Are you covering it out of other funds? It's just a pretty dramatic slide, and I'm just.
Yeah. So previously, under professional services, we had the William James Interface Program, and that was like $32,000 for that service.
Okay.
It's $8,500 now for Care Solace.
Mhm.
So we were able to save in that area. So it's not that we're not utilizing the services, we made a substantial change.
Okay.
Liz, who's serviced by the Care Solace program?
Just trying to make sure Jim isn't bludgeoning you, that's all.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
the other question I had is, you know, Crosstown Connect.
Yeah.
You know, started at 11,000, it's up to 27,000.
Yeah.
And, you know, you cut 7 out of what you had put in there. Is it worth it to us to even participate in it?
To me, it's very much worth it because they provide 2 full-time dispatchers Monday through Friday
Okay.
to take all of our transportation requests, schedule them, and do the reporting monthly, where for $27,000 a year, where I would not be able to hire one person for $27,000 to give me full-time dispatching coverage for our 200-ish rides per month. So it's
So
great
the-
value to me.
So the 27 will cover you. You're comfortable that'll cover you, or are you having to cover the difference between 27 and 34 with other funds? Because
27 and 34.
you apparently, oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had a minus there, it's a plus, I'm sorry. I'm done, thank you.
Karen had a question about CARES.
Yeah, so CARES who does that service?
That services everyone in town, all ages, or employees of Littleton. Anyone can call into CareSolace and say your concern, your needs, and they will connect you with a therapist, a day program, an inpatient program. They'll do all the legwork for you. It'll take your specific information or insurance information and come back to you with a list of providers who actually have availability. The public schools also use CareSolace, but they use it in a different way where they have clinicians on their staff and they do what's called like a warm transfer. So if they're seeing somebody clinically in, through guidance counseling or a transition program, they can refer directly to a counselor. So they have a different version, and we have a version that covers the rest of the town and town employees.
I have, all your EHS van drivers here you have listed, they're in the book, but they're not actually in the expenses because they're covered by MART. So it's just a weird thing because the salaries are shown much higher than you actually showed for reimbursement, right? But they're not anywhere near expenses.
If they're coming out of MARC, they're coming.
Well, she also showed like $55,000 in MARC funding, but these are showing over $100,000 in salary. So.
Just one quick question. I think you mentioned about 40,000 is being used for the fitness training from one of the grants, maybe state grant.
I'm sorry, one more time?
So one of the state grants, about 40,000 is being used for the fitness trainers.
Yep.
Are there any online programs being used? There looks like there are some online. I don't know whether the ones that you have are in person or online, but looks like there are a bunch of online programs that can be leveraged.
Yeah. So right now, that's the state formula grant that's at $40,000 that covers all of our fitness instructors. That's two Tai Chi classes, 3 dance classes, 2 different chair yogas, yoga for strength and balance, and 2 stretch and flex. So it's a lot of instructors. Some of those do have the capability of doing hybrid, where they can do it online and in person at the same time. We haven't done, since COVID, we haven't done fully virtual. But that is something we're exploring because we're having the good problem of all of our fitness classes filling up on the first day that we open registration. So we are considering the idea of having a virtual option for those who are on the wait list who don't get into the class.
Also, there are some free online programs, fitness programs that can be subscribed to and maybe do it, as a group.
Yeah, we do. Anytime we come across those, we do try to promote them. I know Blue Cross Blue Shield has a good program that they often put out, and Emerson also has some that are free that they put out. So we try to cross-promote different community resources or free resources that people can take advantage of too. That's a great idea. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz.
I am not Nancy Glencross. I can only hope to measure up to Nancy, and I'll answer any questions as best I can. So, what we've done this year, completed all network installs for the center on Shattuck for full occupancy. Completed all network installs for 36 King Street for full occupancy. Completed new zoning layer for Access GIS online with planning and assessors. added zoning, conservation, health, and fire departments to online permitting, added dog licenses to online permitting, assisted in Pro QA software install here at the police department, as well as assisted with First Do software install here, and upgraded all computers to Windows 11. Goals for fiscal year '27 is to add planning to online permits, training and work with newly established training team to create training process and documentation for end users. Safety departments establish regular scheduled on-site hours at police and fire, which we have started already. Continue to research, promote, and enforce cybersecurity awareness, very important. Work with departments to convert physical forms to online fillable forms to be available from the website, and create or clarify IT policies. Operating budget, a lot of that is Munis annual fee, increases in equipment licenses due to additional buildings, all the switches, wireless access points, computers. Increases in user licenses due to increase in staff and user accounts, and increase in backup storage and security. Software and systems increased by $6,534 due to an increase in the yearly Tyler Munis contract, which was after the original budget was submitted. Obviously, no increase in personnel upcoming in the next 5 years. All service and support contracts are subject to 5% annual increase. Stricter Massachusetts laws for ADA compliance on digital access may require additional funds to comply with the new state standards. And additional buildings, departments, and staff will increase expenses for both equipment and accounts. No capital requests. With the environment changing to cloud-based solutions, the need for physical on-premise equipment is greatly reduced, and routine PC replacements are factored into operational expenses. That's one area I wish we had more money to purchase more computers.
Maybe next year.
What's that?
Maybe next year. So Tyler went up 12% on this, on Munis.
Yeah.
Have they given you any inkling as to whether or not there's another anticipated increase for this year?
They have not, that I've heard. Maybe Nancy has heard, but that one came in unexpectedly, so.
Yeah. Awesome. Put a buffer on there just to cushion it. We're going the other way, we're trying to cut. Just don't like those surprises.
I would expect it to be around 5%. It's never gonna be flat, so.
No, everything, all the contracts usually.
Maintenance fee, yeah, subject to a 5%.
The cost of providing the support, and they provide, and not just in our time zone, but they're across the country. So they're providing support, till 8 o'clock at night. So having the staff to do that it's expensive.
When I'm in California, I don't care about those people.
So the ADA requirements actually come in the next fiscal year. They're not pushed out to FY '28. So I don't know where you're budgeting for any ADA stuff in this coming year versus future years.
So Nancy's started exploring that, and she just did a webinar on it. I'm not sure if it's this coming fiscal year or the next one where we have to.
I was on that webinar. It's
okay.
June of 27.
27.
Or it's either June or April of 27.
So it's not much money before you have to.
No, it has to be implemented.
Oh, it has to be completed by then.
Completed, yes. We're a small town. Boston has to be done by June of this year. So I'd just be aware of that possibly impacting. I don't know if it's going to it's probably more time than anything else, but in training.
Yes, I think there will be additional costs too.
We'll circle back with Nancy and find
There's lots of webinars to tell you what you need to do.
Yeah, mandates.
Yes.
Anything else for Tom?
How much do we spend on the Munis contract annually?
On the Munis,
Yeah.
that one is, $126,000 is what we have budgeted for FY '27.
Once they get you, they get you. Anything else for Tom?
All right, thank
Sure,
you.
Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Nancy.
Oh, we ahead. Reserve funds. It's an easy slide, $295,000. And we didn't give up anything, so it's still at $295. One of the things that, and Robert and I talked a little bit about it, if there are some smaller deficits, once we figure out this whole budget stuff that we're in, we can reduce that number a little. We used to carry 250,000 for years. A few years ago, it was increased and it never went back down, so we do have a little extra there. This year, in '26, we put extra in that account for the fire department's overtime from last year. We didn't let that go into the budget, we kept it. And Chief McCurdy will come to us if he overexpends his overtime budget, or his wages budget, so. I think there were just about a little over 50% last time we looked.
Yes. Actually, I think that, even more so, especially with the recent storm like that. Yeah.
Okay. So we can expect something toward the end of this year, but we have extra money in there for this year. Plus Liz's position, are the only two expenditures I can think of. Can you think of anything else yet?
You mentioned assessor's software,
The assessor software, that was
15,000.
It's gonna be less than that.
gonna be less this year.
It's like 8,500, I think. Yes, I know. Also 36 King Street was from, was that from there? No, we had to take that from stabilization, sorry, that's different.
Yeah. So those three things.
Are the assessors actually going forward with that? I know it's been on and off and on and off. Are they actually doing it this year? Okay.
And Robin and Kim had Kathy double check the numbers with Patriot to make sure that
Okay,
everything
good.
was good. So it's under control.
Yes.
Good.
And that's our budget. Is there anything else for tonight for department budget?
Yeah.
Just want to remind people, I didn't remind everybody up front, make sure you take your notes and things we want to cut or add for Saturday when we talk budgets. We're getting down to the wire, we get some additional information, and we'll have a lot to talk about on that Saturday. It'll be a busy day. Anything else, Madam Chair? Do you have anything?
No, thanks.
With that, I will look for a motion to go into executive session.
I'll move that the Finance Committee vote to enter into executive session pursuant to MGL Chapter 30A, 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining, specifically regarding health insurance negotiations, as discussing these matters in open session would have detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the town.
And not to come back to open session afterwards.
Okay, not to come back to open session afterwards.
Okay, we need a roll call. Sam?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Fred?
Yes.
Sanjay?
Yes.
Fred?
Aye.
Steve and I.
Yeah, move the select board vote to enter into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21A3, to discuss, I'm holding motion. I'm good. With respect to collective bargaining, specifically regarding health insurance negotiations as discussing these matters in open session would have detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the town.
Second.
And not to return.
Not to return to open session.
Second.
Moved by Chuck, seconded by Mark. Mark?
Yes.
Chuck? Karen's aye. Thank you. Now, since we're not coming back to the general session.
We need to do